Okay, folks, you are here tonight for managing multiple WordPress websites. This is going to be an open forum discussion demonstration about that particular topic. We are WordPress St. Petersburg. Oops, got to turn my little thingy on. There we go. We are WordPress St. Petersburg. We meet here at the Suncoast Developers Guild, downtown St. Pete, on the first and third Tuesdays of the month. Our website for Meetup is meetup.com, WordPress St. Petersburg. Our website for the group is wptampabay.org. On that website, we have a Slack chat, a Facebook group, and our meetups are all listed there. We have all of the links to all of our prior videos that we've taped, all of the information that you ever could need about WordPress in St. Petersburg and in Tampa Bay is on that site. We are a member of the WordPress Tampa Bay Network. Right now we have 3 groups that are meeting on a semi-regular basis. WordPress St. Pete, WordPress Tampa, and WordPress Brandon. Okay, I am Jim True. My Twitter handle is Jim True. My website is jimtrue.com. I am a support engineer at Gravity Forms, and Gravity Forms is at gravityforms.com. I do not do support outside of that particular format, so for them. All right, what we're discussing tonight is managing multiple WordPress websites. The minimum toolbox you must have in order to manage multiple WordPress websites. We're also going to be talking about additional tools, utilities that will help round out your management capabilities. We'll be talking about host-provided tools that your web host may provide you that you can do for free. We'll also be talking about additional plugins that provide tools and services. Most of those are actually, some are free, and then they have add-ons that are premium. And at the end, we'll be doing an open discussion about what tools do you use, what do you like, and what you hate about them. So, your minimum toolbox is going to be in the categories of updates, backups, monitoring, and management. In the update world for WordPress, that means WordPress updates, plugin updates, and theme updates. If you've got multiple websites out there, all WordPress websites, you know how nightmarish it is. Even if you've got 1 or 2, you have 1, you're constantly in there updating the WordPress version, you're in there updating the plugins, you're updating the themes. Add a couple more sites to that, and you're suddenly doing it for several sites at once. We're also going to be talking about backups, which must be part of your tool set. Your WordPress backup includes the database on that site and the files. Monitoring is your uptime. Is that site up? That's the biggest thing you have to worry about if you've got a client and they're paying you. Is that site live right now? And for management, we're looking at users and passwords. And that may just be your user ID and password, and it might be the other people's users and password. Yes, Rick.
You are recording this, so all of these slides will be visible on the YouTube channel?
Yes. Not immediately, but yes, I am recording it.
It'll be there in a few days.
Yes, I'm recording it on YouTube. It won't be in a few days, but it might be by the weekend. Sorry. All right, in your updates toolbox, that means they're going to primarily be accessed under your dashboard, under updates, visible under the plugins, where you can see, does my WordPress need an update? Does my plugin need an update? Does my theme need an update? WordPress updates are core, major, and minor critical maintenance updates. WordPress has basically if you've got, when I say core, what I mean is that the number, if it's currently 5.2.3, 5 is a major update. .2 is a major update. .3 is maintenance, critical, or minor. Most of these, if you've installed your WordPress in a standard format, most of these will automatically be pushed down. But you can configure that if you don't want that to happen. If you're running a development website, all of these will automatically be pushed down, whether you like it or not. So if you're running a bleeding edge development version of WordPress, all of those versions will automatically be pushed to your site. You can control the level of those through the WP config file. Basically, if you go to WordPress Managing Critical Updates, you'll find an entire document on that, but I can link it at the end. So we don't. It's a setting inside your WP config file that basically says, yes, push security updates to me. Yes, push bleeding edge. Don't push any updates to me. And that's kind of how that works. Most managed hosting platforms like WP Engine, Flywheel, SiteGround, a lot of the others like that. Come on in, there's room. Have a seat wherever you need, find one. Most managed hosting platforms will automatically perform your minor and your maintenance updates for you. They will send you an email if you have not updated your major versions, and they will keep bugging you until you do, and they'll give you a deadline, and then they'll just automatically do it. So it's one of those kind of things that you have to pay attention to. And this is just, all of this, by the way, is just WordPress. This is not plugins or themes. Plugins and themes can be either major or minor updates, and they're all managed through the plugin update screen on WordPress. And the only reason I'm talking about it in this level because you've probably been inside your plugin screen before, you probably had to deal with updating plugins, you probably dealt with updating themes. I want you to understand that WordPress core is completely separate from anything to do with your plugins and your updates, or your plugins and your themes. Those are the three areas you're going to have to pay attention to when you're dealing with managing multiple WordPress websites. This is the big one. Don't even think about updating without backups. Don't even think about it. Don't even push an update button anywhere on your screen without thinking about a backup. Because if you mess it up, you don't have any way to get back.
Quick question.
Sure.
If you haven't provided you're basically a managed hosting, and
Yeah.
you do 90 backups, do I need to worry about that? Or
If you're on a managed hosting, WP Engine does snapshots. They do a daily snapshot. When you go into WP Engine and you click to hit update, it's going to ask you, hey, would you like to do a snapshot before you do that update? So we'll be going over that one in a bit.
Like 24 hours at most. That's why I didn't know.
No, you don't have to. You can do a snapshot in a minute before you do your update. So we'll be talking about this one in depth. So don't go worry about it too much right now. Your backups toolbox, backing up is critical before performing updates. A database backup. Right now I'm talking about if you had to do all of this manually, this is the method that you would do. And it's a nightmare, and I'm not going to go deep into basics on it because it is out there on the web if you need to find out. But this is the process if you had to manage all of these multiple WordPress websites manually. So a database backup is done through PHP MySQL admin and your cPanel on your web host. Hey, haven't seen you in forever.
Hey, what's going on?
No problem. And basically what you're doing is going into MySQL and doing a database dump. You're telling the database on your site to give me everything, including the table structures, so that I can recreate it again with one command. It's not something you're going to have to do every day because, honestly, it's not something you want to think about. But it is documented and it's doable. File backup is everything inside the installation directory. That means wherever you've installed WordPress on your host, everything down. That means the WP content, the plugins, themes, and the root of your WP config directory. I know this is way up here talks. This is definitely not simple stuff. So what we're trying to talk about as we get through this is talk about the easier ways to deal with a lot of this so that you don't have to worry about the nuts and bolts, okay? Most WP backups, like if you use a WordPress backup utility, what they're doing is a full database MySQL dump as a file, and then the entire installation directory of your WordPress as a zip, and the two of them are zipped together. If you go into the snapshot on WP Engine and open that file, that's exactly what's in it. It's an entire dump of your files and that directory, your MySQL dump. Utility updates can touch both the database and files, so this is the big thing you have to be worried about. When you're doing WordPress updates, if you're updating WordPress, you're touching the database and the file directories. So that means you're having to look at both. If you're updating typical plugins, all you're changing is the plugin. You're just updating the file. Most of them do not do a database right at the same time. Welcome. If you're doing e-commerce sites, if you're doing massive like membership sites, any kind of site that has a large amount of content database updates on a regular basis, you really do need to always be thinking along the lines of database and files on backup. Okay, backup and update workflow. Never update on a live site. This is your live website. Never, ever, ever update on a live website. You're asking yourself for trouble. You update a live website, you break it, it's down. What you want to do is back up to staging instead. Most of your hosts, if they're a good host, have the ability to create an exact duplicate copy of your site in a place called staging, and you can test all of your updates on that first. What you want to do is back up to staging, then freeze changes on live, and that means whatever you need to do to lock down live so that nobody's buying any products, so that nobody's updating any content, so that nobody is doing anything on live. That means put your website into maintenance mode, if possible. Or at least tell everybody that would be doing that kind of stuff to not touch the website, if that's all they're doing is content. Like if you're a newspaper and you don't do comments and you're just getting posts, you can pretty much freeze a site pretty easily. E-commerce is a lot harder. Update on staging and test. Take that staging site and update your plugins over there. Make sure everything looks the way it's supposed to look before you go back to live. And then, once you know that everything looks good, you can update live after testing, which means you can leave it in maintenance mode and then push those same updates on the live. Since you've just did a copy of your staging site, these live updates should be perfectly okay. Or if the site is like WP Engine, some of the others, they can actually take your staging and dump it right on top of live. And usually it's a lot faster because what they're doing is snapshotting the database and the files directly over the top of your live website. Okay, monitoring. Your monitoring toolbox is at minimum a ping test. A ping test means ping wptampabay.org and see if the website's live. And then they do that every 5 minutes. Typically, most uptime monitoring will actually look a little farther than that. They'll look for a specific port to make sure that the site is actually responding so that it will catch the difference between a white screen of death, because if you have a white screen of death, it will respond. The IP address will respond, but the website is actually not live. So, Uptime Robot is an excellent website to use if you are just getting started on all of this and you want to make sure that your sites are working. When I first started doing this way back in the day, when I got paid absolutely nothing for doing websites, I just logged all the sites into Uptime Robot and I would get pinged, I'd get a text if the site went down. And it was kind of nice because you knew about it before everybody else did. Ideally, your Uptime monitor should alert you when it's down and when it's back up again. You don't want an alert when it's up, but you do want an alert when it's back up and visible if you've been fixing it to try to get it back again. The best alerts use SMS, text, email, and Twitter. I think they have a lot of other interfaces along those lines. The big thing is you want to know before your client knows when your website is down. Okay. Your management toolbox is your users and passwords. This means like managing your admin username and email, because if you think about it, if I've got one website, I'm logging into that one on the admin side, and I've got to do my plugins and updates, and then I go into another website and I'm logging into that admin account, and I've got this other one. Start adding more and more websites to that, and it's getting a little bit much. Ideally, you also need to be able to track your web ICC panel. When I say cPanel, what I'm typically meaning is the control panel at your hosting, your web host, because you have to log into that. And your MySQL database, username and password, your FTP, SFTP, which is for files, the locations and usernames, ports, and passwords, all of that. What I used to do whenever I did these client sites back in the day is I kept a red folder that was all of my clients' admin information in case I got hit by a bus. And it was their account password and login to their GoDaddy host. Their, including like the PIN number for GoDaddy, including the whatever that other little funny number is that they needed to have for GoDaddy. It included all of their MySQL database passwords and the ports and all of the other little settings for that. It included their FTP and their SFTP. It included their admin email account and their admin passwords. It included all of their information that they could possibly need while I was going around setting up their site, including their Google Suite and everything else. And I said, put this in a red folder, put it in your safe deposit box, put it someplace where it's safe. Do not use this on a regular basis. I've created you an ID that you can log into your website with. It is the primary one you're going to be doing most of your work with. That red letter one is in case of zombie apocalypse. That's the goal, is that you need to have something that if you want to fire me, you can still get into all your stuff. That's the point of those. So typical tools you can use to manage those are LastPass, 1Password. There's a couple of different tools out there. I think NordVPN now has a password management utility as well. The main thing is that you need some form of password, username, login location, etc., password system to manage that kind of stuff. Because the last thing you want to do is be out there going, okay, the last thing you want to do is be using the exact same password for everything. That's the worst thing in the possible world to do, is to use the same password for everything. Because that's exactly the minute one of your privacy things gets released, because they're out there combing your Google, they're combing your credit cards, whatever. Somebody has something insecure, and they're getting your password information, and then they're sharing it. And if you're using the same password for everything, then they can get into everything you own. So typically what you want to do is use a password utility and protect it with something like a phrase that no one could ever possibly guess, because it's just a nonsensical phrase. Like, I don't know. Let me see. Like, I don't know. Like, frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn. And you do it with like uppercases. You change your A's to at, and you use your spaces. You use a phrase like, this might be a password. Something that doesn't make any sense to anything. Or you use 3 words that mean something to you, but to no one else. Maybe it's your favorite food and I don't know, that kind of thing. The whole idea is that whatever phrase you're using over here is nonsensical to most anyone. Mine is a dog's name that's really confusing and long, and no one ever met that dog, no one ever got to know that dog, so I'm the only one that would know it. And that's what I use. And I use uppercases. I use funny characters when I need to, like % signs or question marks, that kind of thing. Spaces, changing out letters for, numbers and things like that. And that's how you protect your main box. And then you use the tools of those password management things to create random passwords that are properly secure. And you change them on a regular basis. There it is. Okay. So, host-provided tools. These are the fun ones. These are like cPanel. Inside your control panel on most of your web hosts, they'll have the ability to go in and look at the Explorer, kind of like a directory window of all your files from your hosting account down. And you can very easily from there just click the button and say backup. And that will get everything, including the access rights for specific files and stuff like that. They will typically have the ability to reset passwords, probably not at the WordPress admin level, but honestly, if you've lost the admin login to your website, you're kind of screwed. Sorry, but you are. PHP MyAdmin is typically the tool that's used on most of those control panel hosts, and what they'll do is it'll just open up your database. There's a button right at the top usually that says database backup or database restore, and it'll dump the whole thing down, and you can easily restore it right over the top of it. Managed WordPress hosts like WP Engine, Flywheel, and SiteGround have their own levels of utilities around those. I'll do a quick little demo here and show you. Okay, I'll change the mouse. I don't have to, I'll just do it from here. Okay. This is Flywheel's dashboard. And you can kind of see, like, these are all of my websites that I've got on Flywheel. And if I click on one of those, we'll just go into this one down here, jimtrue.com. Has an overview usually, has like other information about your site, but the big thing we're looking for is backups. They show the last, how many pages posted. Every managed WordPress host does this a little differently, but from here, I can download this or I can restore from this. I can download this backup or I can restore it. If I download this backup, I guarantee you it's got a SQL dump file in it, and it's got a collection of everything from my host directory down. With Flywheel, I also have the ability to have the local client here. Here we go. I'll just fire it up. You can see it. Where to go? Hang on. Flywheel, there you are. Move them over here. This is my Jim True website there. It's also local on my local machine. I can push and pull with Flywheel. So I can actually push this up to live, or say pull it down from live, or push it up to live. So it gives me the ability to do staging locally if I want to. I'm not gonna, but I've got the ability to do it. Let me see what else they have here. That's pretty much it as far as there's no way into their database from here because they don't really want you in there. So it's kind of how they treat their stuff. They do have the ability to have staging, so you can easily stage from here. But yeah, I can't get into the database. Oh, yes, I can, kind of. I can manage the database from there. So if I go into that, it's going to load up my, that's not my SQL admin, but from here, I could export and do the entire file, just like that. I can select the tables, what have you. So you do have the ability to do it, but you have to know what you're doing when you're doing stuff like this. This is not something you want to just play with, but it is interesting to look at sometimes. On WP Engine, what they do is they have what's called backup points. We'll be looking at the Pods WordPress website. Oh, hang on, of course it's going to send me an ad. I don't want an ad, shut up and go away. I'm already logged in, I don't care. So they have backup points is what they call them, and they're run daily. They tell you exactly how long ago it ran ago, the time and window and everything else. You can click one of those and hit restore. If I click that to restore, it'll give me the option to do database or just files. In most cases, when you're doing like if I went in and I went into into Pod's website and I went into the WordPress dashboard and I said, okay, update that plugin, update that plugin, update that plugin, update this, update that, and I broke the entire site, I could go here and just do file restore, typically. But if it was an e-commerce site, God forbid, you definitely want to get the database back as well, typically. And most of the hosting systems like that will do this pretty easily. And that's kind of how they work. But that's about it. Notice they don't give you a lot of extra tools. There's no uptime monitoring here. They will, if you ping them in chat and say, hey, my website's down, they'll go, oh, let me look. Yes, it is. Let's fix it. And they'll fix it. And then you'll say, what went wrong? Oh, something. Pretty much.
Pretty good for that.
Yeah. But WP Engine has 24/7, 365 live chat. And so does Flywheel. So, that's the method. If your site's down, you want to get notified about it, you get a text from your uptime robot that my site's down. I go in, I can't fix it myself. I go get in their chat, fix it. And that's kind of why you have managed WordPress hosting. So just want to give you guys kind of an idea what those look like. Okay. All right, go back into here again. Where were we? Okay, so that's managed WordPress, like WP Engine. SiteGround does a lot of the same stuff. SiteGround has cPanel, database management, the whole bit. Managed hosts do snapshot backups and restores, which is backups, and they also do backups to staging and staging to production if you pay for that. And that basically means that you can do that entire backup workflow that I just told you about. You can back up to staging, test your updates on staging, push staging over the top of live. They also usually will manage your WordPress updates for you, at least the minor and the maintenance ones, and they'll hammer on you to do the major updates. Also, they will let you know if you have a plugin that's malfunctioning, which is quite nice. They almost always include some level of uptime monitoring. Not all of them, some do. And the reseller tools they have are much more flexible. If you are a reseller, if you resell hosting to your clients through one of these hosting companies, you tend to have a separate little panel that you manage that also manages your sites for other people. It gives you a little more flexibility. I'm not going to go into detail on that because every single one of them is different. Okay, additional tools. Malware scanning of WordPress security. Fun. Malware, be like Sucuri, S-U-C-U-R-I. Do like a standard quick scan to make sure there's no malware on it. WordFence is the one most people recommend for security scanning. And I honestly, I can't tell you much about it because I've never used it. The other kind of additional tools you might want would be a branded user maintenance tools. This is when you come into like, I want to make money by doing client websites. So if I'm managing upwards of like 5 to 10 to 20 to 30 websites, I want to sell my client on maintenance. And that means you're charging them a maintenance fee monthly to do backups, to do WordPress updates, do plugin and theme updates, to make sure their sites are live, to make sure that you're handling all the good stuff. But you might also want to be giving them, okay, I scanned your site for security problems. I scanned it for, malware. I also made sure that your Google Analytics was properly connected in, and your webmaster tools, etc., were properly connected in. And I'm going to send you a little report monthly that shows you that, so that you pay me my monthly maintenance fee. That's what that's about.
Now, is that where you would use WordPress, manage WordPress, or because I don't see that in my.
We're going on to that one.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, yeah, those are the plugin tools. So
Okay.
yeah, none of that is built into your WordPress. No, those kind of reporting. I used to make them myself sometimes back in the old day, and yeah, none of that is built into WordPress.
Yeah.
Miscellaneous tools, your analytics, your SEO checking, stuff like that. Page and post management, comment management. That means like basically being able to do, let's say you've got 17 franchise sites and they all need to have the exact same or a similar post or a similar page across all 17 sites. This allows you to basically push a page to like 17 sites or a post to 17 sites. It also allows you to go through and approve or spam comments across an entire network of sites that you might be managing. Again, additional tools. When you're managing multiple WordPress websites, and these are the things that you typically have to do, you don't want to log into each one of them to have to do it. And I know this is really technical, and I'm sorry. So, these are some of those tools that actually provide you all of this stuff. Infinite WP actually installs on your own web server. Typically what you want to do is actually create your own site called like infinitewp.jimtrue.com or projects@jimtrue.com. Install this through the cPanel, and it's going to write a database, it's going to write all the files. You drop a plugin onto each of your little websites that you manage, and it suddenly shows everything in one clean dashboard. So you can see, okay, I've got a WordPress update here, I've got some plugin updates there, I've got some theme updates there. Okay. Now, Infinite WP, again, runs on your website, so you manage it, but the plugin runs on the websites that you're managing. Typically, what it's doing is it's creating a little security key at the host, at the sub website level, and that's how they make their connection back and forth. Their free version provides one-click access, which means I can click on this site here and go directly into the WordPress admin dashboard and start working on it. It also provides one-click updates, backups to directly to the machine where you are right now, or basically your website, not anywhere else, and uptime monitoring. If you pay for the premium version of Infinite WP, you get all the bells and whistles. You get all of the malware scanning, all the security scanning, the branded reporting. It's an incredibly powerful package, but it's also incredibly expensive the more stuff you add to it. I used to use it, and back in the day where they were still testing it and trying to figure out what they were going to basically make all their money on, and so I was able to get in early when I used it. So I was able to do all the backups. I never back up to anything, but like I was able to move my backups to Google Cloud, that sort of a thing. I don't think back then they didn't have the staging ability. They didn't have the ability to test all your updates and staging before pushing on the live, but they do now. Okay, we're not going to go look at that one because honestly, I would have had to install it, and it's incredibly hard to install on a local by Flywheel, and I don't have a hosting that I could have put it on. So that's the reason I'm not demoing it, because it does require you to have an actual website to test it on. We are going to look at this one a little bit. iThemes Sync Pro. It has a dashboard client. It has basically two plugins. It has a plugin that runs on your WordPress machine that you want to manage all the websites from, and then it also has a plugin that runs on your sub clients. And it works the same way. It does a little security key back and forth between the two. Their primary product that they started all this around was Backup Buddy. Backup Buddy is a backup software that you pay for. It's not free. There's no free version of it at all by iThemes. And what it would do is the database backup and the file backup, but it also had the ability to do a very easy restore. You could physically, basically wipe the entire website out completely. Like there's nothing there at all. There's no database. It could actually go and drop one file into that root directory for the website. So like you would FTP in, drop a file in. You would go to the website and load in that particular file, and it would start walking you through the process. It had a password on it that you created on your Backup Buddy client. And you would go in, you'd log in with the little password, and it would build the database for you. It would do the cPanel connections. It would do everything. And it would restore the entire site there quite nicely. Back in the day, Backup Buddy had a lot of issues with doing backups, like really large backups. Like, for instance, if we had a huge e-commerce site that had megs and megs and megs of images on it, Backup Buddy couldn't handle it back in the day. I don't know if it does now or not. I use it for one website, yeah.
I'm just using like A-member.
I'm sorry?
A-member is installed, not in the WP directory.
A-members is still a member plugin, isn't it?
It's a little different though, because it's not like it's not a plugin on my WordPress dashboard.
It isn't.
No. I log into A-member.
Oh, it's a cloud-based. It's a cloud-based.
Yeah, but I still have to put it's huge. I have to change the file size parameters what I can upload to the site on most installations.
Yeah, you're gonna have a piece. You're gonna have both sides of that one, and typically when you've got something like that, if you've got a very specialized plugin along those lines, you want to talk to them about the best way to do backups. That's anytime, like with WooCommerce even. And like especially
Virtue out of Australia, and they've been a nightmare so far. That's the client's host, not mine.
Okay, yeah. I mean, honestly, I never do backups on the host itself, except for when I'm using a managed host, because most managed hosts are either doing Google Cloud Storage or they're doing like Amazon Web Services or some of that kind of stuff, or they're on Cloudflare. So the backups are going to be in multiple locations at once. They're never going to be just on one server. And that's the kind of stuff you have to think about with backups. Like, if it's just a standard myjimtrue.com site has maybe, I've got some custom post types in there, I've got a little bit of media, I have nothing really in there that I'm really terribly worried about. My backups are barely even like a meg. So I don't drop them even on Google Drive. I could, but I don't. I just let my local by Flywheel do the backups. Denise's website's on HostGator. I use Backup Buddy, and it pushes the whole thing to Google Drive, and I'm not worried about it. But that backup's also 13 gigs. So, yeah, I've done a restore of it once, and it did not work well. That's why, gotta get her out of it. Anyway, their Backup Buddy client was what they started with, and then they started doing this thing called iThemes Sync, which was their version of a backup cloud. And what it allowed them to do is kind of like have you paid them for a monthly fee, and they would drop your backups in this thing called the Sync. And the Sync would also be the ability, you could easily do restores, supposedly. I never tested it, so I can't tell you how good or how bad their offsite syncing is. Their premium version includes a lot more information. It has it still has the ability, you can see this dashboard, it still has the ability to do plugin updates, theme updates, and all that kind of stuff. But anything above a certain level, you're going to pay for it. I think I have it on this machine, so I'm going to check real quick. Yeah, hang on. Yeah, I do. Let me switch my mouse. And I think this one, it has iThemes Sync. So if I go into, where is it at, hiding at? Oh, that's not helpful. View details. Where is it at? I have the sync running on. I think I've actually got to go to their site to find it. So let me log over there. If this doesn't get us in quickly, let's see. All right. Yeah, they have the stash and they have the sync. I have nothing in the stash. I'll log in the sync. I'm using LastPass password manager. I like it. So I don't have. I've got this one particular tiny little website live. So let me make his little plugin live, which I don't think I have it active yet. I do. Okay, I do. I don't have any updates or anything on it, so unfortunately it's not really going to tell us much. But I can see like core updates, view updates, iTheme, etc. That's pretty much it. I can manage the website. Could not contact your site. Go to site. It is live. Oh, it is live. Okay. I think I need to actually have a site out there, and I don't feel like putting this one into that one because I just did that on 2 other sites, and I don't have one right now I can put this one on. But it has a lot of the same kind of tools. It's basically anything you want above backups is going to cost you. So, and it's that when I looked at it, it was just primarily cost. So I want to go ahead and switch over, and we'll talk about the next one on the list, which is Jetpack. We're going to go E. All right. But if you guys want to check that one out, it's got the link there for it. Jetpack. Okay. This one requires a WordPress.com account. That right there should tell you gig, because that's how I felt about it once I started using it. I used it for about half a year, and then I said, oh my God, this is awful. Yeah, because it just really is. But anyway, it's you guys may have used Jetpack before on your sites. Jetpack has a lot of little modules and things. When you allow it to turn on the management side, you can see the pages, the blog posts, the plugins, the updates, and stuff like that. You can log into them from your WordPress.com dashboard. But the problem is that it actually does take your login process on your website and changes it to a Jetpack login. So you're routed over to WordPress.com and then you come back. And that's what I couldn't deal with. I couldn't get my actual admin account disconnected from the WordPress.com link. And that drove me insane because it was messy. It was really messy. Their free version does include plugin and theme updates, WordPress updates, user management, and brute force protection and some reporting. All of their premium stuff is like VaultPress. They have a malware security scan and stuff like that as well. I can probably show it to you. I may still have my jetpack.com account in there and maybe 1 or 2 sites. I cannot remember. We'll look and see. My problem is that because WordPress.com and WordPress.org logins, and then what's that, Gravatar also has a login that goes through Jetpack.com. So you end up like getting like 400 little emails that are all connected in slightly through WordPress.com, and it gets really ugly and messy. Because every time you create a Gravatar.com login, it creates a WordPress.com login for it. It's not fun. Okay. So we go to jetpack.com. We will, let's see. Oh, I am logged in. Okay. What am I logged in with? Let's find out. So, no idea. jimdrew.com. Okay. So apparently, oh, I do have sites on here. Let's see. Do I have any actual WordPress sites? Unlikely. Go away with your ads. Close. Jeez. Okay. Oh, let's see. I think, it's PodsCamp 2016. So we have one WordPress website that is out there that's actually running through jetpack.com. It does do 2-factor authentication with secure sign-on if you want to turn it on. But I kind of liked their traffic and insights, and that was primarily the reason I looked at this for a while instead of using Google Analytics, because I thought it was clean and it kind of worked in the dashboard kind of nicely. But if I go to the site, I think I've got the ability to see. Let's see. Where is it? Oh, come on. Way all the way down there, I guess. Nope, not down there. WP admin. Will it take me into the other website? We'll find out in a minute. Login WordPress.com. This is what I'm talking about, where it kind of overrides your login. I don't like that. The other tools that we're going to show you kind of use the secret key and they bypass it. But I am now logged into this site, and so it kind of takes over your primary dashboard and gives you that kind of thing. So that's kind of neat. But as far as like managing stuff, Like it can read all of your post types in here, kind of. Yeah. I'm looking for plugins, but I'm not seeing it on here. That's weird. Oh, there we go. Okay. So you can see what plugins are installed on that particular installation, I think. No. Yeah, this is not very helpful. It's changed a lot since the last time I looked at it. So I would expect to see you've got some plugins that need to be fixed and updated. I'm not seeing that anywhere on this screen. So to me, that
plugins button on the top right, if you go back there.
Oh, is that where it was? Where?
Back to the plugins.
Yeah.
On the left.
Uh-huh.
And the top right, the manage plugins right there.
Okay. Oh, yeah, there we go, active. But I'm not seeing any. I'm not seeing any notification that any of them are out of date, and they should be, because I know for a fact the site is not updated. Yeah. So that kind of thing doesn't make me feel very good. So anyway, that's Jetpack. I don't recommend it primarily because of that weird WordPress.com connection. Okay, let's go back over here. And we will continue on. I'll just use my regular mouse this time. Main WP. This one has a dashboard and client install of WordPress plugins. So your whatever machine that you want to use as your primary log. Usually I say like my business website, jimtrue.com, or a local by Flywheel site that I run locally on my machine is the one I'm going to do most of my management through. And I install the dashboard client, and on the websites out there, I also install one of their clients. Once you install it on the remote client, it will actually ask you to paste the secret key into your dashboard, and that's how you add websites to it. So we'll look at this one. They handle updates, remote login, security, page and post management, all for free. Additional functionality in main WP is through extensions. So like the core plugin is free, but the extensions are premium. The website is mainwp.com. Had a really nice sign-in system. I played with it today. It was kind of neat. But what I was most impressed with was just that it worked. It kind of creates this little, oh, sorry, I'll show you that again. Let me go back. Let me zoom that up just a little bit so it's a little easier to read for you guys. You'll notice that they add the menu item right there on your dashboard. When you install it, this is like my local machine that's going to be running it. If you click on the main WP, it takes over your dashboard. And it shows you this nice looking thing. And it tells me I've got 10 total updates that I need to do. It tells me like the last pages that have been most recent. It's kind of helpful. I mean, I was impressed. I can create a new post directly from here. So, but if I go in and I look at, I don't want to click that button, obviously. That would be nightmarish. But I can look at the overview, is this one. So if I go into updates, it kind of shows you what plugins need to be updated and on what sites, I think. Kind of. Yeah, plugin updates, theme updates. It also tracks like abandoned plugins and stuff like that, so it's kind of nifty. If I go at the site level and go to manage sites, it's got a clean little, thingy here. Kind of helpful. Tells me what version of PHP, stuff like that. I can go directly to the WordPress admin directly from here, and I don't have to log in, which is quite nice. So I kind of like that. That's a nice feature. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me actually go in there. I'll show you what this looks like on the other side. So on jimtrue.com, all I had to do is go into plugins and don't look at my plugins that are out of date. Don't look at them.
How is Gravity Forms out of date?
Because I just haven't updated it on this one. It happens all the time. I don't update my. This is my personal website. I don't touch this damn thing. I just make sure WordPress is running. But anyway, you add this plugin called Main WP Child, and let me see where the setting for it is. I think it's under Tools. No, where is it? When you install it or activate it, it actually. I mean, you know what? I'll just do it on another site. Okay. Am I not logged in? I thought I was logged in with that one. I guess I'm not. Okay. This one's logged in. Nope, the email's correct. Okay. Oh, this is what WP Engine looks like at the client level. on the website. I can't do anything but I can clean the database, purges, and I'm only asked if I want to do a staged backup when I do an update. So if I go in there and try to click a plugin update, I will get a question. I'll get asked. So I'll show you. This is what WordPress, what WP Engine does if I want to. Which may be enough for you. I don't know. So if I want to update this, it's going to ask me right off the bat. Yes, open my WP Engine dashboard in a new window and do a restore point. And of course, I can't log in and do this because I don't have that access from this one. So unfortunately, this is a pointless thing. But I do know that this particular site gets a touch point done every day. But I don't have access to it because I don't have access to the WP Engine client for that site. So anyway, we're not talking about that on there. But if I do want to install main WP, which I can do, I'll show you how that works. Main WP child. And it's going to ask me a mean, ugly question, I think, after I activate. Activate. Get a big, ugly red screen, I think. Yeah, big, ugly red screen. Please add this site to your now, or deactivate the thing, or you're going to be opening yourself up for all kind of nightness, scariness. Yeah, ugly, scary. Big, ugly, evil message here. If you go into main WP child, let's see where they hide there. That's always so helpful. How do I use the child? Oh, here it is, main WP child settings. There we go. And this is where you, because I couldn't find it last time. Okay, so it's under settings, main WP child. Under here, require unique security ID, save changes. That is the most critical piece on any of these little plugins that talk to your website from remote, is to make sure that you're doing some sort of a secure key communication between the two of them. Because that way, the pipe is safe, you're not passing any user IDs and passwords, and you're remotely connected to them. So in this case, it's WM. Don't anybody out there memorize this from the video, because I'm going to disconnect it anyway. But I'm going to go over here to my main WP site. Where was it? There it is. And I want to add a new site. It is Tampa Bay.org. I'm not going to do that. I should not have to. Oh, yeah, I do actually. Rude. Hang on. That's a weird one, that you have to give it the name of the admin. Well, we're all admins. Jim. Like, cut and paste that in and hit add site. It'll visit the site successfully added, visit the site's dashboard now, and boom, I'm in. And that's pretty much it. So if I go into manage sites now, I should see both of them. See? And I've got 30, or is that 10? 10. Yeah, I can't read that little one. Okay, sorry, I need new glasses. But anyway, yeah, so I need to update all that nasty little stuff. But you can see, I can easily click this to go directly to the admin of the site. So I'm going to go ahead and disconnect that now, and we'll set this one also up for manage WP so you can see how it works. So we're going to go into plugins, and I'll deactivate main WP child. This is also how Infinite WP works. If you are going to use that particular tool, it does the exact same thing. It has an iWP client. When you pay for the premium version, you can make that hide so that your client can't see that on there. Because if your client can see that, they can deactivate that, and then you can no longer manage their site. So
you use the free version of this main WP?
Yeah, this is the free version. So I have a feeling that the premium version probably has a way to hide that, I'm guessing. Probably during an extension. Because I looked at, let me see, where was I at? I think it was in, where was I at? Posts. I clicked on something in here. Oh, here it is, all the extensions. All the main WP extensions. You can do a very specific WP Vivid backup for main WP, custom dashboard, bulk settings manager, advanced uptime monitor, article uploader, backup WordPress, backup WP, boilerplate, branding. Massive amounts of extensions. This is where they make all their money. The client reporting, everything. But this is also where you make all your money, because that's kind of the whole idea. If you're going to be managing multiple WordPress websites, you might as well charge your client for doing that. And that's where you get that kind of money from, if that's something you want to do. You know, if you are managing 10 to 15 websites and your client is paying you a monthly fee for some form of work, that's this. When I used to use the Infinite WP, honestly, back in those days, I never really had to worry about taking a site down by doing updates. That was back in the early day when plugins talk nicely together. I would honestly go into Infinite WP, update all my stuff, send out my report, and get my $300 a month or so. You know, that was back in the day. Now I would charge a lot more for that, for maintenance, and I would also do the staging copies and test it ahead of time. So like like for even our Tampa Bay WordPress website, I've often done the cowboy thing and just push the updates out. I have no access to those restores. I have no way to do a restore. So yeah. I have done the cowboy thing on that website. My websites, I always do a staging backup. But I also am not updating things that I know are going to break it. So.
Do you know if the client reports handles like Yoast or anything SEO?
Yeah, I mean, it'll do, like, if you pay for it. Anything SEO related or Google Analytics related or Google Search Console or any of those kind of tools like that that are plugged in, that are paid for as extensions for these particular tools, you're going to pay for it. Because they add value, you know. I think in Managed WP I can show you, they have like an import export. Yes.
The same stuff with schema, pretty much the same.
What do you mean?
With the markup stuff, the schema data.
Completely different thing. Yeah, completely different thing. You might know more about that kind of stuff. I'm not an SEO expert. It's not my area of talking, but schemas typically is the file structures for particular stuff, like for recipes or rock. Or
I'm using a plugin, I think it's called Schema Pro, or WP Schema Pro, I forget the name of it right offhand.
Okay.
But like it does all that for you, and I just don't know if it's kind of like the same category of plugins.
No.
No.
It's not a reporting thing. It's primarily specifically designed to take and make sure that your content is properly formatted for Google to fit those SEO requirements. So, yeah. So like if you were a real estate website that had a lot of MLS information, it makes sure that your schema is organized properly for MLS and for SEO to properly, or for Google to properly index it in that way.
IDX broker for that.
Yeah, exactly. So there you go. But yeah, I mean, it's got a lot of additional stuff. It's got the Google Analytics connection. It's got main WP Buddy. I have no idea what that is. Page speed, so you can do your page speed testing through here. Staging, security, scanning, time capturing, updraft. Oh, security scanning is free. Nice.
Wow.
Okay. All right. Updraft Plus is free in here. Wow. Who knew? It has some WooCommerce stuff. WordFence included with Pro. WordPress SEO or WordPress SEO. Do they have a Yoast? Don't see one here. So, but a lot of people like this one a lot. You've used it, haven't you, Elaine? That's kind of, I mean, the main portion of keeping up most of the conversation at the end is for you guys to tell us what you used.
Managed WP is the
You've used Managed WP, okay. Yeah, I played with this today, and I was actually kind of impressed with it. I thought it was pretty powerful.
But it's similar to Managed.
Yeah, I mean, they all kind of work the same way. So like under sites, what was it? It wasn't there. There was something, I can't remember if it was this one I clicked on, and then I did a little button, and it said, oh, you can get this if you pay another $1 a month, or something of that nature. So this one all uses extensions, so nothing comes out, like if I'm in here playing with stuff. It won't even show in the menu unless you install the extension for it. That's how main WP or Managed WP works. Main WP works. So, but I did like the fact that it had the back and forth dashboard. I thought that was kind of cool. So that you had like an entirely other thing. And it, you know, it gives you a full little, I don't think this one has uptime monitoring. No, it doesn't. Does tell me what extensions yeah, there's no monitoring on this at all. But it does tell you, it should tell you security settings, I don't know. Let me click this little guy. No, I'm not saying anything about like the nasty stuff. I saw that in Manage WP, so we'll show you that one next. So let's go ahead and pop back into the browser thingy, and we'll talk about Manage WP. It also has dashboard and client install as WordPress plugins. You can manage on the cloud or do a dashboard install plugin. So like this view is actually logged into the cloud and managing it out there. So they have software as a service. I think that's primarily how iThemes Sync works as well. It's a little bit of a software as a service because you can do all of your management from their remote website. Infinite WP is going to be self-hosted. Manage WP or main WP is also going to be self-hosted. Updates, backups, remote login included, which was quite impressive. The premium includes a lot of many additional features. So let's take a look at that one.
Is that the same link on the bottom there? It says iThemes?
It should have. Did I not change it? I'm sorry. I really did not. Shame on me. Okay. Sorry, guys. I did my slides today. Leave me alone. Don't pick on me. Where? Let's see. I'll fix that right now. Manage WP.com. I will leave this on the screen so that I know I have to fix it. Okay. So I will fix it before the slides go live. So we don't waste any time on that one. This is the cloud login. You can see it's like on orion.managewp.com. I'm logged in with my email account. I thought their sign up was pretty clean as well. Very informative site. I mean, like crazy informative. This is the website list. I've got my pywacket.com on there. I was going to add, I was going to add the Tampa WB on here, so let's do that one real quick. We will add another website. So, I go over to here and go into plugins. I think we disconnected main WP. We did. Okay. So, add new.
So you already have Jetpack on there? That doesn't matter?
It doesn't matter. Jetpack's on here for something entirely different. Yeah, this site has Jetpack on it primarily just for sharing and a couple other things. So Jetpack has a lot of stuff in it. It just depends on what you turn on. And I'm trying to get to the point where I don't use it anymore. So it's really good for related posts because typically when you're doing, like if you have a site that has a lot of content, and our Tampa Bay WordPress website has a lot of content. When you're doing related posts and you use a plugin for that on your local machine, on your local website, that plugin thrashes the database like crazy because it's pulling the entire list of stuff for like specific keywords, trying to find what could possibly be a related post. And hosting sites like WP Engine and some others won't let you use those because they do thrash the living daylights out of your database. So Jetpack has a related post plugin that throws all the work out to WordPress.com instead. So yes, that means you're sharing your content with WordPress.com, but man, if it matters to you, you know. So we're going to activate the Manage WP worker. And it's going to, let's see, if prompted, provide the connection key found on the plugins page in the worker description under connection management. Okay, that's ever so helpful. Connection management, there we go. So what it does is it gives you this clean little thing and that gigantic scary key down there. So we're going to copy that. It also gives you a nice little copy button. And I go back over to my manage site here. Where was it? There it was over there. Nope. There it is. I'm going to go. Okay. Website. Did I not put the S on that? Use connection key. Add website. See the 3 little dots symbol there? And boom, it's added. And we can see all kinds of nastiness. At least I don't see the horrible security issues that I did on the other one. But look, it's even fetching SEO details. Wow, shocking. Yeah, see, scheduled incremental backup with clone add-on and free cloud storage starting at $2 a month. Woo! Easily monitor website rankings, only $1 a month. Upsell, upsell. This is this plugin, by the way, is made by GoDaddy. So
It's owned by them now. It's owned by
yeah,
them.
it's totally owned by them.
They weren't built by it.
No, it wasn't built by them.
No, it wasn't.
But
Yeah.
you can see the GoDaddy type upsells. Pretty soon, I guarantee you, those will be pop-ups. You won't be able to even I'll try to go into this little dashboard here and click 11 plugins. It'll say, hey, you could get a backup for incremental for $2 a month. Come on, it'd be fun. Anyway, so it's nice to see, though. It has a nice little dashboard. It's clean. Spam comments. Looky there. Who knew? I had some. I didn't even think we had commenting turned on. I can add uptime monitoring, get notified by email, Slack, or SMS if your website is down only $1 a month. Oh my God, only $1? That's so cheap. Then you start $30 a month because you suddenly add 30 sites in, and then boom, it adds up quick. Whereas Uptime Robot is free. I'm assuming this is WordPress Analytics, which is, let me see, Managed WP uses a quick and efficient way to track website traffic trends. To get more precise information, please connect with your Google Analytics account under Settings, Third-Party Services, for only $2 a month per site. Maybe $3, I don't know. Yeah, connect Google Analytics. Let's see. Here we go. Oh, actually, it might even let us go. Look at that. Look at all those things. My God. You can do external backups to Google Drive. You can connect to your Slack. Sign in with your Gmail account. Oh my God. Power. Start just adding things in. But pretty impressive, I thought.
So it's a benefit of this is I use it, but it's a benefit because of having all these add-ons. It's because it all
It's all in one place.
Right, and then you have the note, what's it called? Sorry, it's
Your dashboard that tells you.
No, well, the note to clients,
Well, client reporting is. Let me show you. Let me show you.
Letter that yes, they're site secure.
I think this one actually has the ability to do a client report from
Yeah,
here.
it does. Absolutely does.
I saw it in there.
And for
somewhere.
free. There's Add Client. Where was it? I know it was in here because I saw it.
In that
And
dashboard
it's
somewhere.
perfectly put together.
It's clean. Yeah. I mean, let me see if I click this one.
And you can automate it and blah blah blah. So
Yeah.
you have those little
Like one
add-ons.
you've had for a while, like the Bell Book and Candle thing.
Oh.
Do a report on that one.
Well, I mean, this one's not. I've actually only added both of these today, so there's no real. But there is the ability to do client reports. But why is client report grayed out? Maybe because I don't have any clients installed.
No clients added.
Yeah. Okay. Very odd. That's odd. Okay. I could have sworn I did an export report from one of these today, but I don't know which one it was
Well,
on.
you have to give it a time frame, and your time frame would be.
Yeah, but there's no. I mean, that's what I mean. There's no.
Well, you have
Because
to,
you
you
have
have to
two
assign
selected,
clients
maybe?
to.
Huh?
You have two selected, yeah.
Yeah.
But even if you only one, you have no clients assigned. So.
That maybe that was the other one I was looking at then that was doing it. Main WP had the client reporting. Let me check. I'm gonna hop over there and look. Because I could have sworn, or was that an extension? Yeah, I think the reporting was an extension over here. Screen options. Need help. I need help.
I would just assume that would be the benefit because say if you did UpRocket, Uptime Rocket, or whatever, you did had all these outside external extensions.
Yeah, you would have to pull all that information
pull it
into
in.
one. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the main thing comes down to is that any of these tools is to make your life easier.
Right.
Because once you start getting above, like right now, I have 3 live websites on my Flywheel site. I've got one on WP Engine, which is the WordPress.org. I don't have to manage Gravity Forms, thank God. But seriously, thank God I don't have to manage their website. But I did have to manage Pods when I was there, and that was pods.io, the docs.pods.io, the support.pods.io, friends.pods.io, and all of the plugins and all the updates. And yeah, and it was a multi-site. So I had to do staging copies and then test things. And yeah,
Right.
because again, anything that is a large site that has lots of content, you absolutely have to test in staging. Because you could bring that site down and then you've got to sit there and go, well, how long is it going to take me to get the site back?
And I think you can stage and manage.
You can. They have the ability to do all of those. So yes, Loretta.
So why would you have, if you have all of these sites, why wouldn't you just use main WP or manage WP? Why would you use multiple ones?
Oh, I'm not. I'm just showing you the different tools. Yeah, I am not, definitely would not suggest using multiple tools. I'm suggesting using one. Like when I first did this back in the day, I did Infinite WP, but I was in before they were big. Like right now, if you buy all of their plugins, it's almost $1,174 a year. It's quite expensive. Yeah, it's one of the more expensive ones once you get in there. But the whole idea is that you've got 50 to 60 sites, but you've still got to also have hosting for your Infinite WP dashboard. So that means you're still paying for a very powerful site that has to communicate to all of those. Whereas with like Managed WP, it's on the cloud. It's not on my local machine. Yay. Main WP, yes, it's either going to be on a hosted site or it's going to be on my local site. For me, I would probably do main WP all local. Just use the local installation and do it that way because it works. It seems to work perfectly fine. But again, it all comes down to what do you need and what are you trying to get the most bang for your buck for. When I was using Backup Buddy for all my stuff, I basically set up a scheduled backup on Backup Buddy. I did a daily incremental and a weekly full backup. And all of my sites that I had hosted had a full backup, and they just ran every Saturday or Sunday, like at 2 o'clock in the morning. And they all kicked them off and pushed them to Google Drive, or they kicked them into the stash on iThemes, because back then it was the stash, and now it's the sync. So whatever. So I went from the stash to the sync or someplace. I put them on Google Drive, my cloud drive, because I didn't trust their cloud storage. Not that I trust Google's cloud storage anymore either, but the whole idea was at least I had a backup of the site if anything went wrong. And I have had situations where, in most of those kind of situations when something went wrong, I just went, cleaned out the root directory, cleaned out the database, pushed the restore in, life's good, site's back, we're done, bye-bye, give me my money. And that was it. But back in those days, I wasn't dealing with huge e-commerce sites. I wasn't dealing with sites that typically had people, doing forum posts, 700 forum posts between, 2 o'clock in the morning and 7 o'clock at night. So if you're in that kind of a situation, you've got to have the ability to pop the entire site into maintenance mode. So, make sense? Okay. So at this stage in our presentation, we are at the what do we call it? Where'd my mouse go? We just did that one. We are at the open discussion and question stage. So, what do you guys use? How do you guys manage your stuff? This is where we open the floor. I see little conversations going. How many people manage more than one website? Okay. How many people manage more than 5? More than 10? More than 15? More than 20? More than 50? My count was not up. I haven't managed more than 50 in a really long time. I don't ever want to go back to those days again. So, what do you guys use? What do you focus on the most? What is the thing that is the most critical for you? Backups? Updates? Do you get paid for doing it? How many of you get paid a monthly maintenance fee by your clients for managing their sites? How many of you do reports to them to let them know what you're giving them? Nice, okay. What do those reports include? Elaine?
Uptime monitor, the date of the backup, little analytics, because I use Managed WP.
You use Managed WP? Okay.
What else?
SEO.
Well, she got good Google Analytics. That's good enough.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about SEO if you got Google Analytics in there. What about you?
Google Analytics, Google 360, Search Console, like pretty much everything, but we don't focus on the uptime part of it, because most of the stuff is not hosted on my host. On my host, we have our own site, and some clients, unfortunately, the ones on my host are not paying.
Okay.
So I kind of have just left them.
But you handle all their WordPress updates and stuff like that?
I do most of it, just because I don't want to leave it where it's broken.
Okay. What tool do you use? Nothing?
I was using GoDaddy's Worker for a while and was really hating it.
Okay. Managed WP might work for you. I don't know.
That's why I came tonight with
Yeah.
to find a solution.
Yeah, Managed WP, I mean, it looks pretty. Do you like it, Elaine?
Yes, but I used it before Google bought it.
Before GoDaddy.
GoDaddy bought it.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of.
Does that make you worry?
Yeah, it makes me worried. It does.
Okay. Okay. I mean, yeah, I get that. I don't like the fact that it, I mean, when I looked at the plugin, it said GoDaddy. I was like, what the? Because, I mean, the site looks good. If you go to Managed
It hasn't
WP.
changed, you know, my experience so far.
I was impressed with Main WP, but I mean, it looks good too. So that one, you're just paying for extensions. So, yeah. Who else does
You can
reports?
also pick what you want to pay for.
You do reports too, back there?
Yeah, we use WPMU Dev.
Which one?
WPMU Dev.
Oh gosh. Okay. Wow. How do you like it?
I like it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we do reports on it. I mean, we only report on WordPress updates, plugin updates,
Okay.
theme updates.
Yeah. I haven't looked
We'll
at
do
their.
more than that, but
I haven't looked at their tools in a really long time because I used to use them back in the day when they were the only multi-site tool system plugin type thing. But I got tired of their nagware, you know. Basically, they would take over your dashboard and constantly nag you. Well, hey, you might want to install this thing. You might want to look at this plugin. You might want to look at the upsells were insane back in the day. This was like probably 10 years ago.
they've improved it a lot, even like in 2016 when we first started using it. It's
Okay.
way different than it is now.
Okay, good.
An automated process where you do everything from within the dashboard of WP Dev.
Okay, so you actually log into WPMU Dev and do it?
Yeah, it's a lot from there.
All right, so it's a cloud-based or a SaaS like Managed
Exactly.
WP is. Okay, gotcha.
And you can automate your updates
Nice.
to whatever level you want.
Do they offer staging, testing on staging first?
Well, we do staging through our hosting.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
yeah, I don't know that, I mean, they do, and they've moved to having hosting, but I wouldn't use them for that.
Okay. Yeah, because that's one of the weird ones is like, how do they handle, like these remote ones, how do they handle the remote staging updates? My guess is, how I would do it is I would just connect both. I would connect the staging site and the live site. I would only do all my updates on my stagings first, make sure everything looked good, and then I would just push the same things to the lives.
I mean, certainly, they offer a lot, and I would use everything that they offer, because I think there's varying degrees of what they focus on and
Okay.
how much money they put into it.
What backup software? Do they have their own backup software?
They do.
Okay.
It's called Snapshot.
Oh, Snapshot, I've
One
heard
of
of
the
that one.
plugins.
Yeah, I've heard of Snapshot. Okay, yeah. I know Backup Buddy was trying to do kind of hey guys, sorry, I've got a really bad hearing like on one side, so if you guys are chattering, I can't hear over it. So if you do want to have a conversation and need to have a conversation, just pop outside it for me. Okay?
After's fine.
That's okay. Just checking. So, yeah, I know Backup Buddy had something along the lines where they would do kind of like have the ability to sync a backup and another backup and make them work together. But I don't know where they went with that. So Backup Buddy was the last major backup plugin that I used to use, and then I just switched to hosted snapshots from WP Engine and those because they're so fast. They're done at the rate, they're done at the frame at the blade level, and it's like ping. You hit a button and the backup's done. Hit a button and the restore is done, and you can't beat that. And if you have any issues with it whatsoever, you just say, hey, fix it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. Who else does reporting? Yeah.
I don't do reporting, but I just want to make a comment on a plugin that I tried for migrating sites.
Okay.
It's called Migrate Guru. I don't know if
I've heard of that one, yeah. I've never used it, but I've heard of it.
it was so great. They don't have a limit. A lot of your migration things have,
Yeah. My biggest issue with migrations is just the fact that anytime you're doing a migrate, yes, pretty at the base level, it's a database dump and all the files. But then you have to follow in and go behind and replace all of your URLs in the database with the new location, typically.
Well, this did all of that. I mean, you type in the IP of your server and your username and password or whatever, and it just kind of FTPs it from one site to the everything.
Yeah.
You just install one instance of WordPress and just like bang, everything was like perfect.
Yeah, I know that's how the Updraft, the premium version of Updraft works too.
And, well, this is free, you know.
Okay, yeah, WPDB Migrate Pro is what I used to use, but I liked it because it did everything at the database level. And it did the same thing. It had a secret key at your site that you're talking to, and it had a secret key at the site that was controlling it. And that's how they did their communications. And once you paid more money, you got the files, the media, multi-site enhancements, the whole bit. But it's not, to me, I just can't justify it because I'm not managing that many sites anymore. And I'm not managing any multi-sites anymore. So if I was still managing multi-site, I would either be looking at WPMU Dev because they specifically specialize in multi-site, or I'd be looking at WPMU Dev. From day one, they have been like the primary multi-site plugin developer. So anytime that there's been any kind of a plugin that I've needed that was primarily multi-site based, that's who I would look at, was WPMU Dev. I don't always trust them back in the day, but I might start looking at them again. I don't know. The Nagware bugged me back then. Maybe it's better now. I don't know. I looked at their booking software a really long time ago, and it was just a nightmare.
Yeah, we don't use that.
Yeah. So, and honestly, I haven't found one that I liked. I use Calendly and I use Square Appointments, but I haven't found one single appointment-based software that works in WordPress that I like. So, yes.
Kind of related, any suggestion on a limo booking system?
Again, you're talking about the exact same thing. You're talking about a booking system. Come to the Ask Us Anything.
Distance-based?
No, come to the Ask Us Anything.
Okay.
Next, what is it? It's March 4th?
Should be,
March 3rd.
2 weeks from.
Yeah, 2 weeks from now. It's Super Tuesday night. So.
Again, there to have a conference.
Okay. Yeah, any of our Ask Us Anythings, come in and ask that question, and we can go on a good conversation about it. I did a lot of work with booking and appointment stuff because I was working with a company that had a shared commercial kitchen, and it was all about booking the windows and availabilities of stuff. So thinking along those lines, I've looked at everything. But again, that was
about a dozen of them.
Yeah.
10 months.
Yeah. Yes, Loretta.
For people that are managing multiple sites, I'd like to hear what people are using for hosts.
For hosting?
Yeah.
Yeah.
SiteGround.
A lot of people love SiteGround.
Adobe, I usually always use the top level there. Got what's the regular and then what GrowBig and GoGeek.
Yeah, those are SiteGround? Yeah.
And always use the GoGeek. And you buy free, you buy it or you have your clients buy 3 years. And then it's $13 a month or $9 a month versus $34 a month.
Right.
So you buy 3 years in a row, you get a better deal.
GoGeek from SiteGround?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But if you buy that, like what you say in the bulk,
Buy it in bulk. Yeah, buy it 3 years instead of 1 year.
Right.
At a time, and you get a better deal. And you get
And if you go to WordPress Orlando or WordCamp Orlando or WordCamp Jacksonville or WordCamp Miami, SiteGround is almost always at those, and they almost always give out a free year GoGeek plan. Of course, then you have to pay for it at the end of the year.
Does anybody use GoDaddy?
No. Not for managing multiple websites, and I don't trust their managed trust their managed WordPress hosting.
Well, some of my clients are using GoDaddy.
Yeah.
Against mine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, supposedly their managed WordPress hosting is supposedly good, but it's GoDaddy.
Just not like
We've had nothing but problems.
Yeah.
And so after we have a client for about a year, we're like, well, let's sit down and shadow process GoDaddy.
Yeah.
And once they trust us, we've got a rapport with them,
Yeah.
try to steer them away from that. And usually by then, within a year, we've already had problems.
Yeah. I mean, as far as like solid WordPress managed hosting where I don't have to worry about anything, I do WP Engine and or Flywheel.
Yeah.
But you're going to be charging. Your client's going to be paying for it.
They're more
You know.
expensive, but they're really good.
WP Engine's
If
expensive.
you ever have any issue, they
Yes.
fix it, like.
It's, let the client pay for it and don't
The
worry
sales
about it.
rep went to my high school.
Huh?
The sales rep with WP Engine went to my high school.
Honestly, I went out there for, we did a conference out there when I worked for Pods, and I thought they were amazing. I thought they were a really good company. They're really nice. They're very friendly. Their 24/7 support is honestly 24/7, 365.
I have a reseller account, but I have no clients on it.
Yeah.
It's there. But
I had like one of the 10 sites or something for like a year, and I just switched to Flywheel, and then Flywheel got bought by them. So I like Flywheel because I like the interface between local and Flywheel. Local is like the local dev environment that works on Windows or Mac. It's a really good, simple system. I can fire up, I can have 20 of these running at once, and my machine will barely even be clocking. If I was running Server Press or one of those, I would not even be able to move my machine. It would just be, if I was using MAMP or WAMP or any of those guys, this machine would not move. If I was using virtual, was it VVV? Virtual Variance Vagrants or whatever? Forget it. This thing, I can run several locals all at once and not have any problem with it. And it's primarily because I think they do Docker underneath. So they're really only making one copy of the plugin running at once, or one copy of MySQL running at once, and it just swaps over when you need it. So I'm not worried about it. I don't do what I used to have to do. Right these days, usually I'm only running one of my locals and testing Gravity Forms in it, and that's about it. Back in the day, I used to have to fire up 6 or 7 to test different things. So, but this is what I use. I create something local, I push it up to Flywheel, and I'm done. Or I'm on Flywheel and I've got to do a complete revamp of a website. I push it down to local, fix the whole thing, sync it back up, and I'm done. It's just, I don't want to think about it anymore. I'm 53. I don't want to have to remember how to do MySQL dumps and all that shit. So that's how I look at it anyway.
You've also used Kinsta.
Which one? Kinsta?
Kinsta?
I've heard of
Bigger
them.
sites that have a lot of.
Pagely. Pagely's big too. What's the other one? Is it Liquid Web? Who do you guys use for your host?
Cloudways.
Cloudways?
Yeah, it's an intermediary for hosting on Google Cloud or AWS.
Okay, that's what I thought. So, yeah, Liquid Web, I know does that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I use InMotion.
Yeah.
InMotion, okay. Yeah, the host.
WP Engine has a solution now.
Yeah, they all have to. They all have
Well,
to.
I really like the text.
Yeah, WP Engine and Flywheel both are doing Google Cloud now, so they're primarily pushing their new sites on the Google Cloud.
Yeah, I'll say the tech support or the support for Cloudways is absolutely awful, but the price point is a lot better if
Okay.
you're hosting 20, 30, 40 websites. Having a WP Engine instance.
What is your name again? I'm sorry.
Rob.
Rob is Rob is from WordPress Lakeland. You still running the group out there? You still doing meetups?
Hit and miss, yeah.
Hit and miss, okay.
Yeah, I'm actually getting ready to move over to this side.
Oh my God. And you just built the new catapult. What's going on with that?
Yeah, it is pretty impressive.
Yeah. Yeah, Catapult is the new, what is it, co-working and...
Yeah, it's co-working space.
It's huge.
Yeah.
And they've got connected to, what's the...
40,000 square feet.
Yeah. It's insane.
It's got a kitchen and maker studio.
Yeah, and Lakeland, and what's the new little food hall that just opened up beside it?
That's a good question.
I know the name and I can't think of it. But anyway,
Yeah.
Lakeland's up and coming, so.
Yeah.
If you want to get away from Tampa.
Yeah.
Or St. Pete, rather. I'm not leaving St. Pete. We're getting co-working spaces left and right, so.
You like it nice and quiet, but not as much going on as
Yeah. But yeah, he is our WordPress Lakeland guy, and he's an e-commerce, WooCommerce specialist, so yes. Be nice to have you over here on this side of the bay. Are you going to Tampa or St. Pete?
St. Pete.
Okay, then yes, it'll be very nice to have you in this world, because we definitely have questions coming in about WooCommerce all the time. So
Good deal.
yeah. Any other questions? Yes, Loretta.
This is probably a more appropriate question for the Ask Any question.
That's okay.
Since I'm about 2 hours away, I might not be able to make that one. Does anybody have any translation plugins?
Polyline is highly recommended, Polyline. WPML is what a lot of people used to push, but honestly, I think the folks that do Polyline are a lot better.
What was the other one you mentioned?
WPML. That's the primary other multi-language website plugin. It's the one that WordPress pushes. That doesn't mean I would recommend it. I think the Polyline guys are a lot more flexible, and they're a lot more, they get their updates out a lot faster. It also really depends on what kind of level you're needing.
There's a medical level, a medical website.
Yeah, I would say Polyline. Yeah, I mean they all kind of work the same way. Basically, they create like the two separate sites that are on the same site, but they're multiple languages, and then you go in and actually add the
flexibility to manage some of the language if you want, or it's not just
you manage all the languages inside your primary site, and then basically every page or post, etc., is duplicated, and then you can determine what is translated or not, and that's kind of how they work. I know WPML and Polyline both have connections with translation services. So the other ways those are done are typically with like a multi-site where you're like a multi-network, and then each of the sites are actually different languages. So any other questions? We're at 8 o'clock. So yes, Annabelle. Oh, you did have a question. Okay. I saw your hand.
I did a little wrist work.
Okay, you were fixing your finger. Any other questions out there, guys? I know this was very technical. I hope I gave kind of an overview. There was a lot of information that I had to get out to, so I apologize for that. So let's see how well I remember everybody's names. We have Winnie, Chantel, Jen, Jack, Dave, Rob, Brett, Elaine, Loretta, Gavin, didn't catch John, okay. Rick, and Rick. Sorry, I took advantage of that one. Dave, CC, Brenda, Curtis, Becky, Eric, Annabelle, and is it Dave back there as well?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And Michelle in the very back. Not bad. All right, guys, thank you. You've just watched a recorded presentation from our WordPress St. Petersburg meetup. We meet twice a month on the first and third Tuesdays in downtown St. Pete at the Suncoast Developers Guild. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up on YouTube and be sure to subscribe and click the bell to be notified when new videos are added. You can find out more about WordPress St. Petersburg at our website at wptampabay.org. Thanks.